I was like, huh? But those are things you have to do in recovery, though.
Absolutely. That's very true.
At least I found that it helped me. And, a lot of times at first I didn't want to go to see a therapist. I didn't want to go talk to anybody about it because I could handle it all. And once you start opening up and you find someone you like, and there's different ones, you're going to find, especially if you're just getting into recovery and you're just willing now to talk to a therapist about some of the issues, it could take you a year or two. It could take you longer to find that right one where you just go, all right, I can tell this person whatever. I don't feel judged. I don't feel like they're going to run around telling my story because, legally they can't. But some people still worry about that, and they don't want to feel vulnerable in front of anybody. But you'll find that person that you can connect to, and you can just open up and you can say, hey, this is exactly how I'm feeling today. And I don't need to put on a fake face. I don't need to say that I used to own this or own that, or no, here's what it is. And it's more about feeling and feelings that you're having than what you own or who you're trying to be, that fake person that you put on for other people sometimes. So that's what, having a therapist can do for you. And it really helps me out a lot. And I've been going regularly. And first it was hard, though. I didn't want to do that. No, she said, listening to my podcast, because she had listened to one before, I guess. And she came to the conclusion that I had some kind of obsession with midgets or little people. You do? Well, maybe an obsession, not a fetish. I wouldn't go that far. Maybe I wouldn't.
Unhealthy curiosity?
Yeah, just some thoughts have been in my brain before, but I'm working on it. Just a little bit of time. Just a little bit better today than yesterday. Up to you?
Your therapist brought this up to you?
She just said, hey, and it was right when we were kind of ending, and I was like, oh, I'd love to talk to you about that, but got to go. Time's up. And I told her to listen to the podcast that I would think about it today and try to backtrack to where all this came from. And there's 3 different reasons and possibilities that little people intrigue me.
Better word.
Thank you. First, I remember being little as a child, not a person. And we went to Meyer, when it was called Meyer Thrifty Acres in Benton Harbor, Michigan. And they used to have like little turtle, like stuff for kids to play on in the middle. It was fun. It was fun to go to Meyer. Till one day it wasn't. I was walking through the women's lingerie with my mother. I look over and I do a double take because there was this human, adult, but same size as me, just staring at me. I didn't know what it was. I had never been warned of this. Didn't know these things existed. I'm thinking of like how I was thinking back then. And I just yelled out, Mom, look. I start pointing, and Mom was like, stop that. I was like, what? So I think it was the whole getting reprimanded for just being curious. Mom, look, what is that? Like, what's going on here? Are we getting taken over? I don't know what I was thinking. I just remember having that interaction and, being scolded. So that could have some kind of like rebellious, like, oh yeah, well, can't talk about them when I was 4, but I can talk about them now. Maybe. Then there is the possibility of, there's a movie. Actually, I think they're all connected. Called Time Bandits. Have you seen this film?
No, I have not.
From, I think, the 80s?
No.
Maybe it could be 70s, too. Well, it's creepy as F. Yeah, they got little midgets running around, busting through, like, this dude's bedroom door, and they're time traveling, and it's just a really weird movie. And there's, like, I don't know. They all got, like, big old heads, and they're taking this kid all over, and like they just kidnapped this kid, jump out of his closet, and they're like, ah, and it was real scary. So that kind of ties in with the whole, whoa, different, scary, I'm not saying that they're different or scary. I'm just saying this is where I was coming from, I think, being a kid. And a lot of the trauma that we experience later in life, we've held on to. And it's just how it comes out in people is different. So I'm being serious here. And it might sound like I'm not, but I totally am. And then the fact that my mother is 5'1", which is not dwarf size, but that's small. Well, my biological father is 5'2", so that's pretty small. So I think worrying about, is that going to be me? And I remember people always, messing with my dad because he was short, and not messing with him, but just I knew he was short. I knew he was shorter than average, and I just thought, oh my gosh, I could be that. Is that how tall I'm going to get? And I remember until I was in like 8th grade, there was this thing in the bathroom, and I think I measured it one day, and it was like, okay, that's 5'2". And 8th grade, I was over that. And
so
I remember,
you were like, phew.
Yeah, it was. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, cool. And I kept going around. I'm like, all right. And I got like 5'8", and I'm like, hey, I'm good with that. People are like, you're short. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not 5'2", man. And so I think all of that has something to do with playing into it. And plus, I'm an ass man. And those booties on those women, man, are you kidding me? I've never been with a little...
I was waiting for you to say that one.
I've never been
We've
with
talked about this before.
A little woman, but... Man, I don't know. I'm in a relationship now, and I'm not going to go stray to go experimenting. I've done enough. So,
oh
it's going to have to let that one go. Kind of like being a baseball player. Never was a professional baseball player, and I'm never going to be able to get with a little woman. But I'm still going to enjoy my life without playing second base like Ryan Sandberg or making sweet love with a little woman. I'll be okay. I'll be okay. As long as I'm sober, I'll be okay.
Right. Absolutely. That should be my number one.
So, yeah, just a few things of it's going through my mind tonight, and I told Susan I would clear it up for her, and I told her she had to listen.
So you're doing your homework for your therapist.
Yeah, and jokes aside, I kid around a lot, and but seriously, I think those key things played a role in how I felt, and I think the majority of it was, am I going to be trapped? Am I going to be short? Because I was already short. I started school way early. And so I was always the shortest one. But that's because, there were kids in my grade that were 2 full years older than me. And, it's just, I don't know. I don't want to say fair, but I was just used to kind of always being the shortest one and the youngest one. And I don't know. It happened how it was supposed to, but I just didn't want to be that little.
Well, at least you're facing all this. Dealing with it all.
Yeah.
Figuring it all out.
What do we call this episode? A little COVID?
I don't know.
A little COVID theory?
Right?
I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to get us on some Zoom meetings. I know you got some stuff that you got to do tomorrow. I was going to go with you to help, but it kind of sounds like you don't really need the help that you thought maybe. But I really want to get us on Zoom meetings, and I think this is how it's going to work. I'm going to need help from a couple people. And as much as I would like to start it and have a meeting every single hour on the hour, that's just not going to happen. And I think we're going to start it with a meeting a week, and I will host 2 meetings a month myself, and then I need 2 people to host meetings as well through 217 Recovery. In my meetings, it will be AA based, So if people need credit for or whatever, or maybe they just, want to hear the normal beginning of an AA meeting, we'll do the readings. But then my meeting is going to be more of a...
popcorn? That's what you have referred to it before. In my experience, I've learned popcorn style.
Well, I mean, however style they want, they can raise their hand or do whatever. But
right.
No, it's going to be more of a check-in. As opposed to, doing step work or, stuff like that. It'll be more of a, how was your day in recovery? Is there anything that you want to get off your chest? And it'll be more active listening skills for the other people to kind of listen and take it in. Right. Which is, I think, mostly how AA is supposed to be run anyway. But yeah, just it's not really into the step work. Personally, I don't do the step work through AA. I have in the past. And if that works for you, man, that's awesome. That's great. I know it works for a lot of people, and a lot of people need that. And hey, I'm not knocking it. There's NA. There's so many different avenues and so many different pathways that you can take. Whatever works for you. If it's doing podcasts, then man, do a podcast. I know a guy that wants to start a music, and I'm sure there is already, but like a music therapy kind of pathway, and he's got some really good ideas that I told him if he needs any help, I can definitely point him in the right direction and how he can start a business and start, getting things going in that direction. But yeah, so even that, so it'll be AA based still. And because like I said, I like going to AA. I like AA meetings, but just it'll be more of a check-in kind of style. And I'm thinking maybe just a men's group even, and that way men can just kind of get together. But I don't want to tell women they can't come either.
You probably should decide ahead of time.
I don't ever tell women they can't come.
Oh, jeez. Well, it sounds like it's going to be geared towards like encouraging checking in for the people that are attending the Zoom meeting, but not obviously necessary. Encouraging a check-in. But people are welcome to just join and listen. Because I think lots of times that's what people need. I know lots of times I've gone to meetings that I mean, it changes though. Sometimes I'd walk through that door and have no intentions whatsoever in participating in the meeting. Like I'm just there to listen, you know what I mean? For whatever reason, whether it be like how my day was going or just how I was feeling that particular day. But then all of a sudden somebody says something and it sparks something in me or makes me the wheels turn and, I'm on the edge of my seat. So those are the meetings. That's what I get to say a lot of times is why I wouldn't expect, sometimes when you think you don't need a meeting is when you need it the most, kind of deal. It's true.
But I also don't want to leave it willy-nilly. If you do that, I found a lot of times.
You can work out the kinks, though.
There's that one guy.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, but if I'm the host, I'll tell somebody that's enough. Like I'm not afraid of, hey, bro, you gotta wrap that up, man. We're not talking about that.
If you're running it, I think you control like the muting and all of that too.
So
enter at your own risk, people. No, that was a joke.
Yeah, kind of. But no, you should enter at your own risk because, my meetings will be fun. We will have fun in recovery. And, if you had a bad day, that's cool too. Get that off your chest. But it's about moving forward, and I'm about having fun in recovery. And that's one thing that I did tell the therapist today that, when I went to treatment this last time, I could have went in with the attitude of, I got an OWI and now I'm forced to go to this treatment center for 90 days, blah, blah, blah. And I could have just went through the motions, and I didn't. I went with the intentions of having fun in recovery, and I was not tired of it, but you go to so many meetings and there's so many people that just seem so down and depressed, and some people call them dry drunks. But I don't want to be that way. I don't want to look at my recovery as something that I should be ashamed of, because I'm not. I don't want to look at it as something that is hard to do or is Oh, don't can't.